with DIY Detail. Today I've got two very special guests, Keav from Cars with Keav and Mr. Rad himself, Rick from Rad Garage. Today we'll be exploring rinseless washing and different ways of rinseless washing, also what you can do more to get a more in-depth wash. And the reason I have these two here is they don't necessarily think rinseless washing is the best thing in the world. Let's just say they love their foam. And Rick is very concerned that he can't do the reverse foam method with the rinseless wash. We'll get him over that aspect of it. Gentlemen, first thing we need is a bucket, obviously, and a sponge. Now, you mentioned your hesitancy to use a sponge.
Yep.
A lot of people feel the same way. And we have a guy on our channel, I don't know if he goes on your channels, but every time we show the sponge or polishing is Norm 379. So Norm, thanks for joining. Norm 379, never, ever use a sponge on paint. And in capital letters, he's never answered why. Because every time I answer his comment, asking him why, he's never answered. Yeah. But the wash sponge has its place. And the wash sponge is very unique in our industry. Back in the 70s, the 80s, before he was born. We're a little older.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 45 now.
Okay, okay, you're getting there.
Just a pup.
I'm a 79, 1979.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're in the 70s.
So you saw the 80s, but not well. We used to, there was wash sponges in the 80s that were popular, and
yeah, I remember.
They weren't the best on
Wash
paint.
your dishes with those sponges.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't the best on paint. The rinseless wash sponge is specifically designed to absorb the dirt off the surface and release it in the wash media. So the rinseless wash combined with the sponge work together. So think of this as a pump that's pumping the dirt off the car or bringing it to the wash solution. Now, if you're using a microfiber towel, microfibers are designed to grab onto dirt. When you bring it back to the wash solution, it may not be releasing everything. So it's actually a little unsafe to use a microfiber. Now, the way you use it is great because you'll put like 10, 15 microfibers in there, do a section, and it never goes back in the bucket. And that's great.
Doesn't need to release.
No, if you're using microfibers, that's the way to do it. Don't try to reuse the microfiber. But a microfiber doesn't have this, the thickness. You risk pressure points.
Yeah.
There's no risk of pressure points with this.
Which is why if you did use a microfiber, you want a really nice, plush.
You want a plush, fluffy.
Like 500 GSM, like really plush microfiber.
Yeah. And you want it wet, more wet or more moist than we would have the sponge normally.
Right.
So.
Because of pressure points.
Yeah. Well, pressure points and also dry wiping.
And what's our dilution ratio on rinseless wash?
You should know what the dilution is.
256 to 1.
Or?
4 milliliters to a liter?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, 1 capful per gallon.
1 capful to a gallon.
We have 5 gallons in here, so 5 capfuls. Now
this is V2.
This is V2, yeah. I lost count there.
And 5.
Yeah. People stress out about the cap isn't exactly half an ounce. You can use actually less than half an ounce, but more than half an ounce, that starts to create problems.
Is Norm one of those people?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Norm just comments on
Yeah,
foam.
you get your dilution up too much, you can get streaking and...
Yeah.
And before we start using this, never use the sponge on a dry vehicle.
Okay.
That's not a good way to do it. We need to pre-treat the surface. Okay. Now, pre-treating the surface, there's a number of ways we could do it. For you,
foam.
You can foam it.
All day.
So we can do the foam,
yes.
Rinse the foam away, and then do the rinseless wash.
I don't think we're going to do that today, though.
No. So what we have here is our keg, and you can use just a spray bottle if you want. You don't have to have the fancy keg. You can use an IK. You can use whatever you want.
Yep.
But the keg is the most convenient, and we're going to just put it on there. And notice, Rick, we have a bit of foam. Not much, but this is a foaming keg.
Technically, that is foam. Yes,
Yeah, and a Foam Pro 12, it foams quite well.
Yeah. And what is this? All clean?
No, this is rinseless wash.
Oh, this is rinseless wash.
Yeah.
Same 256 to 1.
Yep. Yes, or
4 milliliters per liter.
Correct. Yeah.
It's got surfactants.
So it does foam a little bit.
And you can put it in a foam cannon.
I've heard that. I haven't seen it yet. Well, I haven't used it like that yet.
Yeah, it's not quite a therapeutic type of foam.
Yeah.
Now, Rick, since you really like to foam, grab that IK that's there.
Okay.
And foam the wheels.
And what's in this one, Ivan? Same thing?
That's all clean
So
diluted.
this is all clean.
That's all clean diluted 15-1
Okay.
with just a touch of incredible suds for more dwell time.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for that little incredible suds in there. Oops. Am I just doing the wheels?
Yeah. Oh, well, you can do
Do this.
the rocker panel as well since it's a
Yeah,
little.
I usually hit back here. It's all clean.
Loosen up that grime. I need one of these, what is this guy called? This
IK foamer, the IK Foam Pro 12.
Yeah,
you can also use
success with IK over the years.
you can also use rinseless wash as the pre-soak as well, right?
Yes,
a different
definitely.
dilution. I've
Yeah.
heard of at a tougher dilution because you're going to rinse it off. If you're going to rinse it off,
No, still, I would do it at 250, 6-1. And that's what
Okay.
we've done here.
Not gonna lie, that's quite satisfying. All right.
And we'll let it sit for a minute. Not
Yep.
much. We don't need to let it sit for long. There wasn't a heavy accumulation of dirt on the vehicle.
Yep.
Now, next step is rinsing. It's rinse less wash. It's not rinseless. It's not no rinsing. It's not no hose. You're still rinsing just a little bit.
we're getting all those bigger particles off, so that way they're not abrasive when on the next process. The contact
Exactly.
wash.
We're getting the grit off the surface. So the grit is being taken off the surface. What the rinseless is doing now is emulsifying the dirt, lifting it off the surface. The rinseless is Zwitter ionic, which is a strange German term meaning neither negative nor positive. So being Zwitter ionic, it's lifting the dirt off the surface, bringing it away, and when we're pressure washing, we'll get that dirt off the surface, the grit off the surface, leaving just a bit of traffic film. So gentlemen, there's a pressure washer hose on the floor.
Yep.
Find the end of it.
That's a pretty big rock.
See what the rinseless takes off the surface.
All right, I'm almost done. Just finishing up the rear here. Okay, so that knocks off the big, gnarly, obvious debris.
Yep.
That takes off the big stuff. Now next, we need to reapply rinseless to the surface. So just like a foam, chemical, rinse chemical, or rinseless, rinse, rinseless.
Yes.
So, Keav, I'll let you take
right.
the honors here.
Now, you on my channel, yes, I'm wearing gloves. This is something that you really never see before, but I even said I couldn't be here if I didn't use gloves.
My shop, my rules. No, you should always wear gloves when detailing. And if you read the comments in Keav's channel, you'll often see me commenting, you should be wearing gloves.
Exactly.
Raw dogging it.
Now, this is a keg-based sprayer. These do really well because you fill them with a lot of air and you get a lot of spray time out of it. I also use a Fantic sprayer, a little 2-gallon sprayer that pushes out about 100 psi, helps knock stuff off as well. If you don't want to use this rinse method. So there's all kinds of way to put it on the surface. Like he said earlier, IK sprayer, it doesn't really matter as long as you're coating the surface. I like these because it's coiled,
Yeah.
coiled hose.
And if you had these battery operated sprayers like Keav is talking about, you don't need to worry about the dilution ratio. Just use what's in your bucket.
Maybe see we're putting on wheels and tires too because we're gonna wash the wheels with rinseless too.
Yes, we are. You can try that one. It's press on, press off.
All right, not gonna handle that.
You don't have to hold the trigger.
All right.
Now, if we're doing a pure rinseless wash, at this point, we actually could have put the pressure washer away. But we're gonna be doing other steps after this to properly decontaminate, get it ready for polishing. For the wheels, easy enough. I'll do those since you guys need a little more experience with the sponge than I do.
Yeah, wheels you don't have to worry about with
I'm
the rinseless
curious
as
to see
much,
the wheel.
like, scratching wise. It's the paint that.
I'm curious to
The
see
biggest
how you
thing.
do the wheels. So it's been
Yeah, same as
so I'll be over
anything
your
else.
shoulder watching this.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
gentlemen, the technology of the sponge, like I said, it grabs and it releases. So grab the sponge, and you don't want to use it like this,
Okay.
on the verge of dripping. So it's just
Yep.
on the point of dripping. And red side and black side are identical. It's just a color difference. The foam is the same. So it acts as a tracer for you to know that, oh, I always start at the top with this color and I finish at the bottom with the other color.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do something that we tell people never to do, start at the bottom, just to show you guys something. It's not as dirty as I thought.
He did such a good spraying it off.
Yeah. Oh, that's dirty.
Oh, there you go.
That's dirty.
So, you guys will concur that we have dirt on the sponge.
Yeah, that's definitely bottom trim panel dirt.
Yeah. No fake. There's only
You gonna
no,
be okay?
No other, no other sponges in the bucket.
I'm hyperventilating. But
Yeah. There's no other sponges in the bucket, right? Touch, lift, squeeze.
It's clean.
You switch sponges.
No. That's
And
why I
it's
took
quick.
it out of the bucket. Yeah.
I concur.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
clean.
they're different colors, so we can't use
Yeah.
that.
So that's the thing. Let's go with dirt really easily.
Yeah. It's designed to release the dirt, whereas a microfiber is designed to hold on to the dirt.
Now, this won't absorb that dirt back. We'll
No.
bring it back to the surface.
No, the water in the bucket can look really, really gungy.
Yeah.
You put this in, and the
It's
dirt
all like
stays in the bucket.
emulsified and encapsulated.
Yeah, the dirt stays in the bucket.
Okay.
We always end up with a clean wash media. And now we've taken most of the grit off the surface. We just have traffic film.
Yeah.
So starting at the top, working your way down.
Okay.
This will be fun.
Do you want a platform? Do you want?
I think I can make it.
And
That's about right.
so, Rick,
Yeah. What am I doing?
old guy trick here. Don't stand on it, but now you'll be able to reach the
Get
center.
closer.
Ah. Yeah, I'll let Rick do the top part.
Yeah.
And just linear strokes, Ivan?
Yeah, is there
or
a technique here to like?
Yeah, no pressure, and just get it on the surface. Think of it that way. Basically, you're absorbing the dirt off the surface into the sponge. So as
We're
long
trying
as
to dry it, basically.
yeah, as long as you touch everywhere, you're fine. And you can do the trim, you can do the windows, you can do all of that.
and how often will I take it to the bucket?
For one panel, flip the sponge over, use the other side.
Okay, I'm not detecting any dirt yet on the roof, so I shouldn't be touching.
That's why we got the gloves. We can't leave the fingerprints.
Let's do this.
Then back to the bucket, dunk in. You don't have to go down to the grit guard. Don't get water in your glove for no reason. Squeeze, and you're good to go. Next panel.
All right, so yeah, nothing on the grit guard at all?
No, you don't need to go down to the grit guard.
All right.
Is this bucket for me back here?
Yeah,
Awesome, thank you.
yeah, we have a bucket on either side to make life easier for everyone. Rinseless wash in the wheel washing bucket.
So I gotta tell you, Ivan, you need a specialized, smaller version of this to get like behind the door handles.
Have a microfiber towel in your bucket,
Use that for that.
or just squeeze the sponge. It'll fit in.
And you're hitting that with a brush?
Same as you would.
And all you have is a little bit of
Rinseless
incredible
wash.
suds in there as well. didn't
No,
you?
rinseless wash.
Okay,
The rinseless wash provides all the lubrication you need. It's just you don't see the bubbles.
okay. I like bubbles.
I know you like bubbles. So when you were growing up, Rick, was Bubbles the clown your favorite clown?
What's that?
Was Bubbles the clown your favorite clown?
I don't remember Bubbles the clown, to be honest. But I do remember the scrubbing bubbles on the commercial.
Oh yeah. Well, the scrubbing bubbles, that actually was a very educational commercial in the sense that they actually were scrubbing. If you're putting on like our all clean, all-purpose cleaner and spraying it on, you're getting that same technology as we had in those old scrubbing bubbles commercials.
I'll tell you one thing about the sponge I like is on contours, it's just easier to clean contours versus using that microfiber.
So the cuts in the sponge are what do that. And the other aspect of the cuts is that it allows it, like I said, to conform to the surface. But the other nice thing about that is it gives you that safety. So if you do have a larger chunk, it's going to go up between the cuts. Now, the other aspect of the, the sponge and the cuts and all that fun stuff, people often ask about the seam in the sponge between the two colors.
Yeah.
That seam, you should never be using that side of the sponge, first of all. And even if it didn't have the seam, where there are no cuts, you should not be using the sponge because you don't have that conformity and you don't have the ability to pick up the dirt as well.
Makes sense.
So are we all washed?
Very close.
The sponge actually is a safer wash than the microfiber. And you mentioned you feel the glide.
Yeah.
The surfactants and the polymers in the rinseless wash are helping that lubrication. Speaking of lubrication, when you're using a soap and water wash, you need to rinse. And then you need to use a drying aid if you want to be safe, because you need a drying lubricant. With a rinseless, it is its own drying lubricant. And when we say rinseless, this is where the less part comes in. I don't need to rinse this off. I just dry, and I'm done.
Yeah.
That wash is complete. We're finished. Now, if you want to use a topper, if you want to use a drying it, you can, but you don't need to. The rinseless wash provides all the lubrication you need to do that drying.
That's part of the main reason why I've been using rinseless the last month or so as my contact wash.
Yeah.
Is that final step? It's just more efficient. I used to do a leaf blower with the spotless rinse.
So you're not going to use a leaf blower anymore?
I haven't been for about a month now.
So water in the mirrors,
And
water
I still
down.
use my spotless water on my rinse before, so I use it for that. But
I would still feel the need to use some air.
and it just
I can't
feels
stand drips.
Yeah.
No, I can't stand drips either.
yeah. You get the crevices when you're done that
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if this dries on the surface, it won't leave water spots. It leaves polymer spots that wipe right
they
away.
wipe right off.
So even if you have a high TDS water, you got minerals,
Protected in the-
you can see
in the
minerals
rinseless.
floating in your water. It's going to do the job for you.
And I find like that was always against the drying process because I felt like that was a second contact. And anytime you introduce a second contact,
You better be careful.
you introduce another
Yeah.
possibility to scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
But it feels slick. It comes off, and actually, I feel like the car gets cleaner because I'm doing that second kind of contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the leaf blower is fun too, though.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Now,
But it's like when it's in the heat of the summer and it's hot and I don't have time. It's just an extra process that I'm getting rid of.
right. Now, we won't be drying the car right now because we're wanting to decontaminate it for polishing. So there's a few additional steps we can do here. So if we want to take the sponge and just re-wet that section that I
Okay.
I dried.
On that.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So at this point, what is your next step in decontamination? So you've washed the car. Let's say you've washed it, you've dried it.
Iron decon.
Iron decon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yours as well?
Decontamination clay.
Yeah.
Decontamination towel. Synthetic decontamination towel.
Perforated synthetic.
Perforated.
Yeah.
I always forget that part.
It's got little holes in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the perforated synthetic decontamination towel, and
Fold
this
it
is
into quarters.
One
yes, yeah. Because Rick, I think you've read a couple comments about
Oh yeah, I got it.
not only from me.
I got lit up by you.
Yeah, not only me though. There was others. So take your towel and fold it in four. The reason for folding it in four, numerous reasons. First of all, it fits your hand better. Secondly, it's not flopping around. And third, more thickness equals less pressure points. Now, iron decon. Apart from a ceramic coating, this is the most expensive chemical a detailer buys. Don't want to waste it. And spraying it all over the car.
17 sprays per
17
square
sprays
inch.
per panel.
Per square inch? Yeah. Do you enjoy the smell of iron removers?
Oh, yeah. Sarcasm.
Yeah, 100%. Like the sarcasm level
Well,
was
that
very
one's
high
not
there.
bad as some, but yeah,
Yeah.
no one likes that.
It's horrible.
Well, actually, Nick
It
does.
gets in your clothes.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it.
House.
We're gonna do it almost as an odorless because we're using so much less.
All right.
So right now the bottle is up to the label, right?
Right at the label, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where do you predict it'll be when we're done this car?
Maybe half an inch down. One spray on the towel, one on the panel. Where we sprayed on the panel is where we meet the two up.
Well, that is a bit stronger than I remember.
Then we lightly agitate. Well, and this is our old version because we still have this one in the studio. The new version smells a little less.
And then when you get a new one of these, you want to break it in on the windows first, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So
okay.
we've updated the towel about 6 months ago that you don't have to break it in anymore. We still have the instructions to break it in on the box, just because we want people to do that, but it's not necessary anymore.
When they wear out, Ivan, will there be any indications when my synthetic perforated clay towel has had its time in the sun?
Right. Never leave it in the sun.
Well,
Good one. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It'll start cracking between the little perforations.
Keep it out.
A few little cracks here and there, not a big deal. If you start losing chunks, time to lose the towel.
okay.
That panel is decontaminated. Then one spray there, move along. There's another towel there, Rick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there should be another
I got it.
bottle.
Yeah.
Being prepared is always a good thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to observe.
Would you like to do this, or you're just going to make sure he's doing a good job?
I'm going to watch Rick.
Okay.
He's got to watch him.
Make sure he doesn't spray more than once.
Yeah. Honestly.
I'm
over here.
on product wash.
So, question for you, Ivan.
Yes.
When I use clay bar as an iron remover,
Yeah.
I would usually, well, almost always follow up with a polish. But this is safe for the paint. I'm not inducing any micro marring, no swirls.
So on this hood, there was a previous video done with this hood
Thank you.
before this one, and Rick was involved in that video. And there are squares beautifully taped off.
Yes.
So after we dry and we're all done here, you can inspect that square to see if it's the same as how you left
Okay.
it.
But you're confident.
And these are also
like your
obviously
confidence.
soaked in rinseless
Yeah.
wash.
So the towels are also soaked in rinseless, and the reason we have them dripping in the rinseless is additional lubrication.
And if we say we come back to a rinseless wash where it's already dried onto the surface,
Yeah,
do we need to reactivate
it's
anything?
best to do this.
How often would I rinse the towel out?
So you're using the four sides.
Okay.
Then
Then,
light dip in the bucket, and off you go.
okay.
I'll get the roof, Keith.
Yeah, I'm a little short. I would assume if you feel like you get to a spot on the car that the contact wash didn't get everything off, and once you're done with it, you definitely want to flip it.
Right.
Move on.
And there may be areas like, the lower rocker panels
Yeah.
that have a little more contamination on them. Go over it once, and if you feel it's not doing anything, do the rest of the car and come back to that
to it.
hyper-contaminated spot.
Okay.
You haven't done this door yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
So we're doing the trim too on this Jeep, right?
100%, sir. And the rinseless wash has a bit of surfactants in it as well. So that's why you see the bit of sudsing.
Yeah. I'll be honest, the more suds I see, the more confident I am that I hit that area.
Yeah, that's
With
why I like
rinseless, I
it
can
as well.
sometimes miss a spot.
Actually, I find with rinseless, you see more where you've been than with soap.
Yeah, I know.
Because the way it looks on the panel is different after you've washed it before. So you can really see if you've missed an area.
I'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I got that. Oh, I didn't get that rail. Good job.
If you have any last little remaining insects, this does a great job of getting it off as well. Did someone get the front bumper?
Front bumper, I believe this side I got.
Okay. Did you do the front bumper?
Not with the decon.
No, okay.
Is this back part been done?
Yeah,
Nice.
we just have the roof on that side. Rick, if
I got it.
You
No, I
got-
didn't. No, I'm thinking of the rinseless. My bad. I'll get that. Not used to working with others.
Now, if the iron remover dries on, is there anything we do as well? Reactivate or?
No.
Because we're fixing to do another step with the.
Right. If the iron remover dries, it's not a big deal. It's not going to damage anything, even in direct sunlight. So we're done with our towels. We can soak them in there. And when you're done with the decontamination towel, let it soak in your rinseless. Then after that, very easily, rinse it out in clean water and let it dry before putting it away. And the best storage you have is actually the box that it came in. So that there are perforations in the box to let air circulate. So once it's dry, roll it back up, put it back in the box.
You have to find it in the trash bin.
Yeah, that box is long gone. I keep it stored in a towel.
Oh, perfect.
I do the same.
I had two and I put them together and they kind of bond.
Yeah, yeah, they're very friendly with each other.
Wrap
Yeah,
them, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you two.
So next, we need to rinse it again to get the iron remover off.
All right.
I know just the thing.
You know just the
We got
thing?
the rinse guy.
We'll let you rinse since you can reach the roof better than any of us. We all rinsed?
No, not quite. I'm not used to having this much space though. It's quite nice.
Next step in decontamination. A lot of people stop here.
Yeah.
We had one step, and that is the water spot remover. And this channel that I watched, it's called Rag Garage. He came up with a term that I think is spectacular for this, and that is mineral cleanse.
Oh.
So we can thank this gentleman
Wow, you're
for the
very
mineral cleanse. Yeah,
Did come
saw
up
that
with
a
that.
couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and was like, wow, that's genius. So
Doesn't say mineral cleanse right on the bottle.
no,
Oh, mineral
no,
deposit.
you charge too much for
Yeah.
trademark.
Yeah.
yeah, mineral cleanse is more expensive. But anyways, all we're doing with this is spraying it on the surface and then using a damp microfiber towel, so in the rinseless bucket,
Wash.
not wet, just damp.
Okay.
And this is a hard one. You don't flip the towel. So the same side of the towel over the whole car. We know it's
Okay.
clean now.
I'll be okay.
Yeah, we've cleaned it with a sponge. We've rinsed it. We've cleaned it with the iron remover. We've used the decontamination towel. We've rinsed it again. We know there's nothing left on that paint, but there are minerals hanging out on that paint. And that is the next.
And that's what a lot of people, when they want to say a coating's done,
Yeah.
they need to do this step before they go any further because the hydrophobics just.
Yeah, if you
right
think
back.
your coating is dead, it has a mineral of layers hiding your coating.
Yeah.
And wheels, that is my biggest pet peeve. People think, oh, I put a coating on my wheels and 6 months later, it's gone, or a year later. When you're driving down the road, your wheels are creating mist, or your tires are creating this mist, that your wheels are just wrapped up in this mist. And the wheels are a little warmer because of brakes and things like that, so the water is evaporating on them. Rainwater by itself does not contain minerals, but what it's sloshing up off the road does. That gets on your wheels, it dries there. People think that they're cleaning their wheels with all these caustic solutions. They are not removing the minerals. So your coating is hiding behind the minerals.
So you recommend once in a while getting a towel, getting some WSR,
Yeah.
and just spending time on your wheels.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to spray this on.
Oh,
and then
that's
if
the
one of
amount
you,
of sprays I like to see.
yeah, and if you guys want to,
Yeah.
Now, does this need
Yep.
to be? This needs to be dampened in rinseless wash,
Yeah.
right?
Is there another one kicking around there?
There's a bunch of them in the. Now, how damp do we want this?
you don't want it too wet because you don't want to dilute the water spot remover. You just want to agitate it.
Where are you starting, Keith?
I'll start at the hood. I guess.
You can wrap your way around the roof, Rick,
Sure.
since you're the one with the best elevation here. Well, you're used to living at what, 4,000 feet elevation?
Yeah, I lived my life a mile high. It sounded terrible. Oh, I just flipped it by instinct. I flipped it back.
Yeah, it is an instinct, and it's hard to resist.
I'm not gonna lie, I flipped it over.
There's nothing wrong if you do flip,
No,
but obviously you're being less efficient with the amount of product, correct?
Is it just because you want more mineral spot remover on the side?
well, you don't want to be absorbing it off the surface. You want to be spreading it on the
Okay.
surface. And the reason we're folding the towel is to get that that thickness there.
Yeah.
For reducing water pressure points.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, I'm gonna need you to come over here at the top of this windshield too while you're over here.
Yeah, I'll get the windshield.
You don't have to use that one, but
I will.
Now, say if I hit the bottom panel like we did with the iron remover, we felt like we hit some grit.
if
It's
you
okay
felt
to
like you
flip
hit,
in, right? Yes.
if you felt like you hit some grit, then yes.
I felt like I did.
I gotta stop grabbing in the car. Bad habit.
Were these this side done yet?
Not that I
It
know.
doesn't look like it.
Did you get the body on this side, Keith?
I did not.
No.
You got anything over here?
Just the whole front.
The whole front end is done though.
Okay. Mineral cleanse.
Yes. We got that from Rag Garage. We've shouted you out about 5 times this week with that.
Is that right?
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Because it is just such an endearing term. It describes perfectly what it's doing.
Well, a lot of my wife's hobby is a lot of beauty and fashion,
Okay, yes.
so I like to steal terms from her world because they do apply to this world.
Oh, 100%.
And mineral cleanse is
And a lot of people, they see water spot remover on the bottom. They think you're just going to be able to come over here and remove 10-year-old etch spots in your window and stuff like that.
No, the water spot remover is really a mineral dissolver. And if your water spots are just fresh, they've been there a week, yeah, it's going to take care of them. But if your minerals have had time to etch into the paint, it's going to remove the minerals that cause the etching, but it won't remove the etching. That's where polishing comes in.
Yeah. Which is why you need the water spot remover step before a polish, because you don't want to polish those minerals into the
No,
paint.
if you,
Deeper
have, if you have water spots on your paint and you don't use the water spot remover, you polish, they will come back, and it won't take long. Be
we
a
had
couple
a
weeks.
phone conversation last summer,
Right.
Because they were there, they looked gone,
Yeah,
then they came back.
yeah, 100%. You're not the only person
Yeah.
that's happened to.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we're ready for the final rinse.
It is mineral cleansed, and it's time to rinse it.
Yeah, now this one we don't put back in our wash bucket because of the slightly acidic nature. We just want to rinse it out with water.
Okay.
And because if you put it back in your wash bucket, it can damage the decontamination towels and the sponge that are sitting in it right now.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, so I'll
Makes
take
sense.
those away from you and rinse away.
Want me to do the top?
Yeah, you can reach the top.
I'll do the top, then hand you the. You get a lot more beading right off the bat.
Yeah.
After a mineral cleanse. I don't care if it's a coated car or not.
No, people think that the water spot remover has something in it that causes beading. It has nothing in it that causes beading, but it has everything in it that will restore beading.
By getting rid of those minerals that prevent the beading.
Yeah.
Yeah, those minerals are masking
Minerals
that.
hold on to the water.
Yeah.
All right, let you have the. So I've done the roof and the hood.
Those of you that are rinsing, when you get on that
Gave you.
bottom angle,
We've been doing this for.
if you feel fatigue when you're just trying to wash it like this, just quickly flip your hand underneath and pull the trigger like that. But these things are initially angled for like industrial cleaning, so they have an angle that goes up.
Right.
So a lot of people feel fatigue when they're having to turn down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spray guns that are just dead straight across. They're a little less fatiguing, but when you get down here, you make up for that angle by being able to spray this angle straight on without having to bend your wrist.
Cool.
Yep.
The more you know. And now we're done rinsing. We're ready to dry. We have a couple options here. We're going to be polishing this car, so we don't necessarily want to use a traditional drying aid.
Right.
We are going to be polishing it, meaning we absolutely don't need to use a drying aid if we don't want to.
Yeah.
But we have our keg with rinseless wash.
Oh, come on. Not more rinseless wash.
More rinseless wash.
This is a drying aid, but I'm not going to do the whole car. I'm going to do a little portion of it, and you can decide for yourself
Just so there's a demo.
if you prefer.
Convince me.
So this door will have rinseless
Okay.
wash, the rest won't, and the back panel. So you'll be able to decide which you prefer.
And it being 256-1, you're not wasting
No,
a lot of product.
I used maybe a quarter of a milliliter of rinseless wash there.
Now, do you prefer the drape over and pull method,
It really doesn't matter.
or
Just get it dry.
just do your own thing?
Yeah.
Everybody has their own thing. Like you have
No one tells me how to dry.
the
a
really
car.
big drying towels. Some people prefer smaller drying towels.
I'm a fan of a smaller drying towel, although the drying blanket I really like because it's a very, very different weave. It's a weave that no one else has. So it's a micro.
It's very tight, like really small little.
Yeah, it's a micro twist
It's like
loop.
animal elephant skin.
So it does. Oh, that's a new one. Never heard that one. Yeah. So he's a good man with words.
Ooh, we got some tar over here.
Oh, we got all sorts of stuff on
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
We
leave
have,
that for the next people.
we have sticker residue in the windows. We
Yeah.
have tar.
Do you want to
So-
try the rinseless wash one again?
Well,
I
no,
did
that
that.
was there. Now try it without.
I'll try this one.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're leaving a little more moisture behind.
And I feel like that there was a little bit of a cleaning that was happening even during the drying with that rinseless.
Yeah. Well, it's allowing the towel to absorb better.
Okay.
That's all it's doing. As providing, of course, lubrication, because water is not a lubricant. Water is a solvent.
Yep. Water's abrasive.
Yeah.
Carves canyons.
So
You got a drying tip for me?
I notice you struggling a little bit.
Oh, no.
No. But anchor, work. That way you don't have to worry about the towel dropping.
Yeah.
And you're not worried about trying to keep it folded, because sometimes when it's folded, you go and it tries to roll under, stuff like that. So this allows you to go around the side of a car or around any part of the car very quickly, because you're doing that sort of that drape over method, but at the same time, both your hands are doing work. This hand can be holding the towel up here, preventing it from going down to the ground or on the tires.
Gotcha. What do you call it? Anchor what?
I use it just using an anchor point.
Anchor point. How about anchor and wipe?
There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna need Rick at the top over here.
You need me over there? On my way.
This is somewhere where you just throw the towel and pull it back.
Yeah. So I can get the windshield up here.
Yeah.
This is called, I call this reach and hope. Hope I made it far enough. Does absorb a lot of water, this towel.
It does.
So that towel will actually hold a gallon of water.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I wouldn't want to use it with a gallon of water in it because it would be rather heavy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it can if it has to. So Rick, the square you polished with our friend Pan here, what do you think?
Well, it's still intact, and that doesn't surprise me because my my fears, I've never had fears, but my anxieties were with the making sure I've got everything clean.
Yeah.
Not fears of inducing any damage. So
Okay.
I got point taken.
Yeah.
That it's a safe wash process. My fear had always been missing spots.
Right.
That's what the drying process did with the rinseless on the surface.
Yeah.
And we all face different environmental concerns, but in the winter I would have dirt all in here.
Yeah. Well, I know you like using the little brush around the cracks and stuff.
Yeah.
With the rinseless, you can do exactly the same.
I would need to in the winter.
Yeah. And anything that soap can do, rinseless can do. Now, rinseless can do things that soap can't do. Cleaning your interior with a foam cannon may not be the best alternative.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you. It's there's merits, and I can see why people enjoy having that as one option.
Yeah, it's
Some
an
people
option.
have made it the option and completely dismissed the traditional soap wash. That just riles me up a little bit,
Right.
because I don't see why it has to be an either or thing. You can have both.
No, definitely. It's definitely not an either or thing. Now, if you're a professional detailer, my personal opinion is you should never be using soap because it takes more time, it takes more resources, and if you're doing this for money, time is money.
Yeah.
If you're doing this for fun in your driveway, by all means, the foam cannon is the way to go.
Yeah.
There are incidents for both. There are reasons to use both. They're all valid reasons. No one is wrong, and more importantly, no one is right. There's no, this is the only way to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know people are starting to play with this, the hybrid and
Right.
introducing their own ways of doing things. I love that. I
Yeah,
love
exactly. Innovation is, an important part of this industry. Always has been, always will be. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas, leave them below. I'm here to answer, and I'm sure these guys will answer your questions. If you haven't subscribed to their channels, Cars with Keav in the comments below, and Rag Garage.
Yeah, I'll be in the comments, so meet you down
Yeah,
there.
exactly.